hot topic for content creators. This is where I pitch a hot topic to you guys, and then you guys turn around and create your own video on said topic. And tonight's hot topic, we're revisiting indie author Folly. Indie author Folly is where I want you guys to share the business practices, the public relations, or the marketing strategies that you observed within the indie scene that have made you cringe. Now, it's not necessarily anything that would be considered illegal, but just stuff that seems questionable, off. It seems a little grifty, if you will, dare I say. However, I want the focus to be on the behavior itself. I do not want this to be an open forum for talking shit about specific authors or other indie publishers out there or anything like that. I just want to focus on the behavior itself for this hot topic. So kind of use it as like a learning opportunity. So there's something that a particular publisher is doing that I want to shed light on without pointing the finger at that particular publisher. But let's just say there is a publisher out there, pretty well known, but they are indie nevertheless, but they have published some pretty well-known and popular authors, to say the least. But technically they are an indie label. And there's a marketing strategy that's going on right now that I think needs to have some light shed upon. And I also would like to ponder some other ideas and bounce it off you guys and kind of see if I can get some of you stimulated enough to share your opinions on this and what you think. You know, if you have a problem with it, you don't have a problem with it, why or why not? You know, I want to know. So here's what it is. So this particular publisher, what they're doing, the author that they're publishing is coming out with a new book soon, okay? And this is their marketing strategy for that book. And and hopefully this, in my opinion, does not become a new common business practice, because I think that this is definitely a ripoff to fans. And I'll explain why, and it may become obvious as I go along here. So what they're doing is they're not releasing, once this book is released, they're not releasing multiple editions as much as what they're doing is they're releasing kind of alternate, what is glorified, an alternate version of. So I'm going to make some comparisons here too. So what am I talking about specifically? So this is what their business plan is, their marketing strategy. What they're doing is they're releasing this title, this one title, and it's going to be released to multiple retailers, right? But what they're doing is they're making certain content within this book exclusive depending on which retailer, big box retailer, you purchase the book from. So in other words, if you purchase the book from Walmart, then the book is going to contain extra content. Okay, so it's important to note that it's not the core content. So the core story of the novel remains the same across all these versions, which is why I say they're not necessarily editions. These aren't different editions. They're all going to have the same cover, as far as I know. They're pretty much all marketed the same way as the same book. However, they're going to be the Walmart exclusive, the Target exclusive type of version of the same book. So the core content stays the same. I believe the cover art may remain unchanged, aside from maybe it might have a stupid fucking sticker on it that says Walmart exclusive, Target exclusive, God forbid, because we all know how readers feel about stupid stickers put on the books, me included. So these are like alternate versions. So what are we talking about here? So the author is writing these bonus chapters. Okay, bonus chapters for what I assume are side characters. Okay, so these are books that if you, depending on which retailer you purchase it from, you're going to get a bonus chapter on one of several particular side characters. Now, to me, this is about as grifty as it comes. Okay, especially if you're going to be charging, you know, upwards like over $20, $25 for a hardcover or something like that. And now you got 3 different versions of, but it's the same book cover, it's the same content. It's just got a little, you know what I mean? It's just got a little extra on the end, a little different little cherry on top. You know, that's really, I find that grifty. The reason why I wanted to bring this up too is because, like, where does this end? Because I'm thinking about digital. This is for the physical copies of the book. Okay. So the core content remains the same. You got these different versions of that just so happen to include a bonus chapter. So then what comes next? Are we going to start having DLC, downloadable content for ebooks? Oh, guys, you thought you purchased the entire novel? No, no, no. There's an additional, here's an extension pack. Here's an extension pack for that novel that you purchased. Okay. No, this isn't a separate story. No, this isn't a completely separate novel that the author's been working on. No, this is just a short little, you know, fragmented extension pack for a novel that's already been released, and you can pay a new price and you can download that. So instead of the author going out of their way to write a completely new novel, they're just going to start writing these. They'll write like one core piece of work, full novel, full-length novel, and then they'll start releasing maybe fragments, bonus chapters, which at that point would really just be a glorified serial, I would think, except is it really a serial? Because at least with serialized fiction, people know what they're getting themselves into. People start reading serialized fiction understanding that they're, you know, sure, there may be a set amount of episodes. Maybe there might be a season that the serialized fiction is live, or it may just be ongoing. It depends on the writer. The writer just may keep going and going and going and going. And there may not necessarily be any end in sight for that particular series, that serialized fiction. I feel like it almost, from an artistic standpoint, it kind of fucks with the canon a little bit. That's the only angle that I could kind of come at it from and say, yeah, well, for one, it's a cash grab. On the business end, it seems like a cash grab, an obvious cash grab. Just basically just siphoning off of the fandom. But is it justified, though? That's another way of looking at it. Is it justified? Because if the fans are thirsty, if they're thirsty fans and they don't give a shit and they're just like, take my money, give me every little scrap of lore that you possibly can, and I really don't care how you release it, you know, even if it comes across as a straight up grift, I don't care. Just give me every little scrap of morsel. I'll pay $90. You know, I'll pay $97 for a 25-page floppy, you know. Maybe you're one of these people that are out here on Booktube and you release 1+ hour fucking deep dive criticisms on a book, deep dive reviews, analytical reviews, maybe 2 hour plus. Maybe you're like that rogue guy that does the obsessive compulsive 7+ hour deep dives. Okay, is that you? Imagine putting in all that fucking work into a novel, right? And then the author comes in behind you after all that's said and done, and then decides to tack on an extra 3, 4, 5, 10 chapters of bonus content that fucks with the entire framing of the story itself. Kind of undermines the original canon, what was originally canon in the work. I mean, at that point, you're like, okay, do I even try with this author anymore? You know, which makes me believe that if the publishing company is going to release a book that has like these bonus chapters in it, I'm going to think that from a business standpoint, these bonus chapters are nothing special. In other words, it's not anything that's going to ruin the reading experience for the core fandom who are going to just be folk who are really just buying this book, this novel for the core story itself. Yeah, sure, there's a little add-on at the end, a little bit of bonus for a inconsequential side character, or maybe we get a little resolution for a side character that doesn't necessarily fit into the main story itself. It couldn't have been written into the main story itself without it coming off as wonky or a bit jarring, what have you. I mean, whatever. I still think that what you're doing at this point as a publishing company is with all this exclusive shit. What I don't like is like, okay, you go to Walmart, you're going to get one version. You go to Target, you're going to get a different version. That's cash grab bullshit right there, you know? I think that's cash grab. Because really what's going to happen, like we're going to go away, like if we continue into this digital age, like what's the point? You're going to have the Amazon digital exclusive that only reads on the Kindle, and then you're going to have like the EPUB, everybody else version that works on other e-readers, you know? So that makes it so I feel like that's one angle you could look at it where it's like you could, because you know damn well how Amazon is. Amazon will be all about that exclusive shit. So you may have to buy a Kindle. In other words, it's going to put you in a position where you may have to buy a Kindle because for one, there's no physical paperback version of the book available that would have that bonus content. And it would only be available through Amazon Kindle specifically. So you would at that point, it's like you either buy Amazon Kindle or else you're not getting that bonus. You're not getting access to that bonus content, you know, barring nobody online just puts it up there for free. You know what I mean? But I mean, to get it legitimately, you would have to own a Kindle and buy it specifically through Amazon. So that's why I see down the road, I could see potentially happening here if this is what these publishers are going to start messing around with, these little marketing strategies. And shit, maybe there's some stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't know about, where they're having these little backroom negotiations with these big box retailers. These big box retailers maybe making some special deals with them. They say, hey, if you're going to do something that's going to send some business our way, then we may be willing to give you a little bit more upfront for your product or what have you. I don't know. I'm not a fly on the wall in the room during those deals, but it's a possibility. We're going to get to that point where these distributors are going to start strong arming the publishers, whether you're indie pub or self-pubbed. Weigh in. Let me know. Is that within their rights to do that? Let's find out together, shall we?